Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 10-Minute Book Talk, where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you every week. This week, there's just like a plethora of authors. There are 6 authors here. Why? Because we have the pleasure of having Team W, which is the writing team of, there they are, yay! Beatriz Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White, all here with us today, talking about their newest book, The Author's Guide to Murder. Oh, you guys, I have read some Team W books. I think this is maybe going to be my favorite. I'm just so excited to have you guys here. I know I'm going to be telling a lot of people about this book, but before we do that, tell us a little bit about your wonderful new book, The Author's Guide to Murder.
Well, it kind of all started. We were working on finishing our most recent book, which was Lost Summers of Newport. And we were having one of those sort of lunchtime, caffeinated, cookie-driven, I guess, brainstorm sessions.
We made a little slap happy.
A little slap happy. And we were joking about how whenever we are doing a book talk, someone always asks, oh, so how did the three of you get together? Were you put together by your publisher, like the Spice Girls, like a girl band? And we're like, no.
And we're always like, of course we were. Can't you tell we secretly hate each other?
Exactly.
And we joke, but we were sitting there that day all hyped up on sugar and caffeine and
exhaustion.
And we turned to each other and said, what
Heat
if?
stroke too. It was August. Yeah.
I mean,
no, I kind of swear.
That's cool. But we were like, well, what if there were 3 authors who were put together like the Spice Girls? And what if they had to pretend to love each other while secretly not being able to stand each other? And what if they were in a castle in Scotland and the owner is found brutally murdered multiple ways?
Yes. And of course, we had to go back to our origin story for this, which is us meeting in a bar, getting together in a bar, and that's
At
when
a writer's conference. You know what happens at conference, stays at conference.
Except when it doesn't.
How you put it in a novel,
all of that.
later.
And at that point, we were like, you know what? Why don't we get a publisher to pay for our girls' trip and our bar bill? And all we have to do that is to write a book together and let us set it in Scotland, and let's call it
50 Shades of Plaid. But this is our for real story. This is what actually happened to the 3 of us. But it's also the story that these authors are claiming in our book. But for them, it's possibly not their
But their story starts to unravel under the brutal questioning of our Scottish detective inspector.
D.I. Mackintosh.
Who is voiced in the audiobook by a real Scottish actor, which yes.
I think I want to hear that.
Checks off the last item on our bucket list, really.
Reading it, there's like a lot of extra R's. So
we apologize to the people of Scotland in the very first page of the book.
Yes, our dedication is to the people of Scotland. We're sorry and thank you for the plaid.
Yes. Because we are kind of, I think all of us grew up reading those wonderful Scottish historicals and the bodice rippers and all those. And so this is a bit of an homage to that, but also a bit of a wink, wink. We loved those books, but
also it's a mockery of the American fantasy of Scotland, which is nothing like the reality. And so our authors go in wearing their Land's End plaid with their having grown up reading The Laird and the Lamb and Sweet Savage Laird, and all the Scots are like, oh God, not
again.
Thank you, Outlander.
So it's an homage, but it's a bit of a, I think you have to remember that we're definitely going with a bit of a satirical, playful angle.
Our tongues are so firmly in cheeks, our cheeks are like out to there.
Yes,
it is. Okay, this may be the first 10-minute book talk where
we never ask a question.
Actually,
I love it.
All of our questions.
We have heard this
so
from
good
interviewers before.
We have slayed so many moderators.
Sorry.
Marie, oh, they just answered all the questions. All right, new questions.
No, Rachel, you have a question.
I have a question?
You do.
Oh,
we're pretty questionable.
No, my question was, where did the inspiration come from and why did they do satire? They just answered it. They
just answered it. Okay, they did answer it. All right.
I love that. That is amazing.
Why don't you ask us about what's really at the heart, the theme at the heart of the story?
So, Karen, would you please tell me what is at the heart of this novel? What is
female friendship.
And it's how your found family. And sometimes it seems a little unlikely, but you learn
Yeah.
to love each other for all your little quirks.
It's
And
like
some of us have more than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
I
of us
love
have
it.
less than others.
Okay, I have an off-book question. So you said it in Scotland. I know we all Outlander, all these bodice rippers, like there's a definite American Scottish fantasy. Did you guys go to Scotland to do research? Have you been to Scotland? Like, what's
Yes,
the
very
Scotland?
surprised. Our husbands are all mean and hateful and said no. And we said, can we go for a month to do research in Scotland? So they said no because they're mean and hateful. So
to
but-
get nannies and for the children, but they said no.
Yeah.
No.
But you can spend a lot of time in Scotland before,
Yes.
I spent some time living in Scotland. Beatrice and Karen both lived in England and spent a lot of time going on
And then
trips to
I had a
Scotland.
great Eurailing trip when I was in college where I got sucked into this like midnight Kaylee in Sterling. And it's
too.
still,
It
there's
happens.
a little bit of
I ended
that.
up in a Kaylee in Fort William when I was doing a study abroad at Oxford, and I was like, all that homeschool dance moves that I learned that were totally useful in life. Scotland.
Hey,
Kaylee.
I went to horseback riding camp one summer in Scotland when I lived in England. So
And the horses did a Kaylee.
They
We
did.
all-
Oh my
They
gosh, I
did.
can just see them neighing their way
Kaylee-
around.
Yes.
Kay Gordon's.
Kaylee on horseback would be so fun. You have to have a lot of
You're
whiskey.
so wrong.
A lot of whiskey.
As long as the
Lot of
horse is
whiskey.
more dancing.
For you
Yeah.
and the horse.
But you did have a wealth of research to draw from. I love that.
yes, absolutely.
You can see we take our research very
Very
seriously.
Very
Team
seriously,
Debbie.
very seriously.
Yes,
So,
we know
okay, I
we
feel like
come
I've lost control of the interview, but that's okay.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all
Sure.
good. Fine. So I do want to know, wait, or Catherine, did you have a question?
I mean, sure. I mean, it's how does the magic work? But I feel like we've just
We
witnessed
just saw how the magic
10
works.
minutes of
What
the
do you
magic. So
Well,
I'm
do
good.
do you divide up by chapters, or how
By
does the
character.
actual
by character, which is also divided by chapter. So
Yes.
yes.
But the secret sauce is that before that, we meet up at some place horrible like Karen's beach house and we plot out the whole book together. So we all own the whole thing. And it's not until we've done a full chapter by chapter outline that we each claim a character.
Yes.
So we already have ownership of all the characters. So that in this book, for the first time, where we had all three characters in the same time period,
Yeah.
so that we are writing dialogue for the other authors' characters in the same chapter, that was new for us, but it was really exciting and
I
fun.
loved that part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
You would think we would be territorial, but I
at all.
love getting my chapter and seeing how you guys were writing my character,
Mhm.
from the outside perspective. I'm writing from the inside. I
Yeah.
love having
Yeah.
your characters talk about what they were thinking of my
Likewise.
character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
cool.
I have an actual question. I think I could still do this. All right. So knowing the three of you, there are three, obviously in this book, it's about three authors. You are three authors. One of the authors is Kat Denoir, who writes erotica, is a little bit naughty, and she may enjoy the occasional cocktail. I'm just saying. And one of them is like is Cassie, has 6 kids and is writing so darn many books. And she is just bright and bubbly and happy and all
And
the
the
time.
magic
And Emma, who
Vera
lives in
Bradley
New England-
bag.
Say it again.
And the magic Vera Bradley bag from which
Her
she
little-
pulls
the
like
Right.
very often.
Yes.
And the magic Vera Bradley bag. And then Emma, who's from New England and a little more serious, is deeply into the research. Are these characters modeled after
Funny you should mention that.
I hope
We will
not,
not.
because someone said I just disliked all 3 characters so much, and I was like, oh wow, and she
Huh.
tagged us on that. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gosh, I hate when they
people
do that.
Don't
Like,
focus on the negative.
I'm sorry, but
opinion.
there was a very lone voice, obviously most
Howling in the
I mean, I
wilderness.
don't see how you couldn't love these 3 characters. They're actually
We love
not
them.
specifically based on, we started out, I think very intentionally taking like kind of almost a stereotype of a certain type of author.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then like embroidering on that and turning that stereotype
you-
into a real
You
person.
peel back the layers and
Peel
you
back
see
the
who they
layers.
really are.
Yes.
Right.
But one thing we do is we never tell anyone who wrote which character.
I
And now
love
that
that.
we've done 5 of these together, often we play with it. So sometimes we write 2 type and sometimes we write against type, and you can't tell which we're doing in any given book.
Well,
That is great.
Maybe
it's
not.
so much fun, and there are so many asides that I don't feel like you have to be a writer to get it, but it,
Exactly.
you know, I mean, it is satire, guys. Like, it's satire. It's funny. You're supposed
Thank
to be
you,
laughing.
Marie.
Some people think, no, they're not allowed to do satire. They do historicals and
Yes.
Yeah, and you are pushing the envelope in new directions,
love
which I
that.
think is wonderful and
much
you know, just
fun.
beautiful. One of my
Right.
favorite, you're talking about stereotypes of authors, but there's sort of the aside as one of the characters is like male author, entitled male author, and I was like, uh-huh.
uh-huh. We know who that is, right?
You know, some amazing, wonderful
Yes.
male authors, but
Do.
there are definitely, I think
The
we're
bad
all
actors
sharing
out there,
stories.
yeah.
There's some bad actors, and I think they're allowed to be bad actors. They're given permission to be bad actors in a way that female authors, and this is a little bit of the serious vein that's running through here, in a way that women writers are kind of not. We're always supposed to be playing nice, and we're supposed to be generous with our time and never say no, and always write this type of book, and you know, and I think the male authors are allowed to sort of be moody and difficult, and that's part of
And
their
punch people.
persona.
Yeah.
Or be predatory toward women, as a lot of stories have been coming out. You know, we put in a few stories of things, you know, predatory behavior by
That
some
we
male
had
authors
heard over the years.
but then some stuff has come out that people will be like, oh, were you talking about that thing that happened at that one conference?
And we're like, no, we
"Oh my
weren't. Wow,
goodness."
tell us
we didn't
more.
do that one.
We thought we were exaggerating for effect, but apparently not.
Well, and I will say, yes, we know lots of perfectly lovely male authors. We do.
We should definitely
But-
say that, who are wonderful and generous and all these things.
Well, oh my God. I have no idea how long we've been talking.
Oh,
I feel like it's
We're
been
way beyond our 10-minute book talk.
way beyond our time. So
We're
again,
at
thank
But you know
you.
what? We've got
This is so
3
fun.
authors, so
We've
that's
got
that's
four
30
authors.
minutes, 10 minutes
10 minutes
each.
each.
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah,
technically
actually
they
way
should
under
get 30
time.
minutes.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, guys, I lost control of the interview. I make no apologies because this is so much better than what
Great.
I would have done had I kept in control. Before we go, guys, you're together, so I think maybe I know the answer to this question, but there might be other things. Tell us what's bringing you joy today, friends.
Well, chocolate chip cookies.
Oh,
we got
yes, there's a
really
chocolate
good
shop
Chip
right
is
across the
amazing,
street.
right across the street. The truffle
again.
shop in Essex, if you want to order them.
Okay.
Chocolate Geeks. I think
It's
it's called the
my-
Chocolate Geeks.
Well, my receipt said truffle shot Essex.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. No,
And
but
they
it's
have
like
okay,
chocolate.
truffle shots.
Truffle shots. They
Oh.
have like you know,
Love.
alcohol only chocolate.
Chocolate
So-
truffle.
No,
So,
Oh.
you know, the
I
last
just
time you
This kind
guys,
of book tour.
you could probably get it with alcohol if you really want it.
yeah,
I
the
think
last time you guys were on a sugar high, a wonderful new book came out of your last sugar high. So maybe
We'll
We're
see.
ruffle-induced
Yeah.
novel.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And friends, you know what else I love? I love the Author's Guide to Murder by Team W. Like, run, do not walk. Get this delightful murder mystery satire. It will make you
Women's
smile.
friendship
And if
book.
it doesn't,
Friendship.
if if
And
it doesn't, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know. But this is a
right?
highly
If you
enjoyable
don't get it,
book.
you're
It is
sad,
out
sad
election
person.
day. So on your way back from voting, if you haven't voted already, swing by the bookstore, your local independent bookseller.
It's a good
Yeah.
way to avoid the news.
Yes.
Avoid the news,
no, it's-
vote, and then read this book.
Vote and read this book. It's great escapist fiction. It's just a lot of fun. And so put on your fun hat when you're reading it. You'll
on your
enjoy
fun
it.
Yes.
I have put on my fun hat having the three of you here. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank
for
you
joining
for
me.
having us.
Always
We'll
a
see you
pleasure,
guys.
y'all. Mwah. See you on the
Mwah.
road.
And
We'll
see you
week
guys
for
next
more
time on the 10-minute book talk. Bye, Team W.